Good afternoon and welcome to Our World, Our Power radio show. You're here with Lady Pauline and my new co-host for the day, Joseph Swift from Massive Hype Sound.
That's me.
Welcome, Joe, to being my partner today. And we have a special guest.
Yes. Please forgive me if I mess up. Pascalli?
Pascalli.
Pascalli.
Yes.
Okay.
I knew I was going to mess up. Sorry.
Well, welcome to our world. I was going over your biography, and you are an actress, singer, model. What else do you do?
In addition to that, I'm also a singer, songwriter, and a producer.
Oh, okay. Now, how long have you been in the field?
Well, in entertainment, the first job I did was when I was about 3 years old, and I had booked a commercial for KFC when I was 3. And throughout my childhood and my teenage years and everything, like I was always working off and on doing various different things. And then as once I turned about 19, 20-ish, I started to dibble and dabble in music. And I've toured all over the world since. I've had, some good little things happen. I earned a plaque for a song called Higher. We got over now it's 21 million streams and counting. So yeah, been pretty busy.
Now, who inspired you all these years? Was your family in show business, or did it just something that you wanted to do?
So I've been inspired by different people for different things. So yes, my family was in show business. I had an aunt who was a cabaret dancer. Before Atlantis in the Bahamas became Atlantis, it was Sun International, and they had, they had like a lot of entertainment going on. And at Crystal Palace, which is now Bahamar, they had a cabaret show. So as a kid growing up, for summer vacations and stuff, I would go there and I would always want to go and see the cabaret show. So it was like a treat for me because, of course, cabaret shows are very late at night. I was a little kid. It was like after my bedtime and everything. But I would be able to attend some of these shows, and they would put me right at the front in the stage so that even though they were working and on stage and performing, they could keep an eye on me. And I just remember like myself looking up at, my aunt and like her colleagues and stuff, and just admiring them in awe, and just saying to myself, like, I want to do that one day. So that's, where I was inspired from, with dancing and stuff like that. And then of course, when it came to acting, I would watch different movies, and I was like a really big Angelina Jolie fan because she does a lot of her own stunts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to get into acting, and I want to be able to do my own stunts and be a part of like action movies and stuff like that. And then when I progressed into music, Red Rat, the dancehall artist, he inspired me with a lot, practically like with everything, because he's my mentor. He's also now like my partner. We have Mogul Movements worldwide together and Mogul Beats. And then of course, like I've been inspired by so many different genres of music, so many different artists, because I grew up between so many different places. So I had pop influences, rock influences, dancehall influences, you name it. And I just try to incorporate all of that into everything that I do.
What was it like working with Mr. Rat?
Mr. Rat.
Rat.
It's always very fun working with him. He, when I first started at the beginning, he was very tough on because he wanted the best out of me. He would buck heads occasionally, and because I had my strong opinion of how I saw things, being or how I wanted them to go. And then of course he's a legend in the industry. He's been in this since the 90s. And but we found our groove, and I'm really grateful for like all that he's taught me, all that he's put into me, because now it shows in the work that I'm producing, it shows in the songs that I'm putting out. So yeah. But he's great. He's great to work with.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I've been listening to his music since the 90s. Yeah.
Tell me also about some of the famous people that you have come across, because you said that you have worked all over the world and traveled. So
Some of the famous people that I've come across, oh my gosh, a lot. I've come across tons of different dancehall artists, obviously. I think one of my first concerts that I went to that we were backstage at was like a Backstreet Boy concert. So I came in contact with them. I've come in contact with a lot of different actors, Nia Long, Jamie Foxx, just a lot. I mean, I've come across a lot of people, but in terms of working with people, I was on the Miami Vice set when they shot in Florida. So I did some stuff like, some extra stuff in that. I've worked on several different music videos as a model. So I worked with Lil Wayne, Facho, T.I. I did Damian Marley's Traffic Jam. I've done Aaron Carter's Saturday Night for the Disney Channel. I have done Neo's When You're Mad. So I've definitely worked with some people.
you definitely have done a lot in, would you say, the last 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, the last 10 years.
Oh,
probably.
10 years, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay. So tell me about your new rhythm, the one that's out now.
My new rhythm that I produced was called the Kwarantine Rhythm. Mm-hmm. It was produced by Mogul Beats, and it was very interesting because I was pretty bored in the whole quarantine and having to stay indoors, and unfortunately we had to cancel every tour, every show for this year.
Yeah.
So one day I was just bouncing off the walls and I came up with this melody in my head and I started humming it. And Red Rat was like, you need to go and lay that down right now. Drop everything that you're doing and just go right now before you forget it. And I laid it down, and that's how the Kwarantine Rhythm was born. And then, we got several different artists to be a part of it. So, Ding Dong and myself, we have a track on there together called Mad Head. Red Rat, he has a song called Stuck in Quarantine. We also have Basie and Tifa from TOK. And they have a song together called Cheating Games. I also have my own song that's called Hardcore Love.
Yeah,
and then
I heard that.
Yeah,
nice.
we have a few other new artists as well on the rhythm. So
when you said that, do you have a studio in the house?
We do. So we have we have our own home studio, but but most of the time, if everything were different, we would go to to the major studio and record there. But this entire project was pretty much done at different home studios. We all had to work remotely together because we're in different countries and no one can travel, but we made it work.
What type of experience is that? Because it's even different for me, because I'm not in the radio station right now. I'm at home and I'm doing this. Give me some of the plus to being able to contact everybody through Zoom or Skype, or as opposed to being in the studio with the person or the people.
Well, the plus is definitely that you can wake up and record in your pajamas. And you don't have to get all ready and prepped and stuff like that. That's definitely the plus. The negative would be that it takes a lot longer because we have to make a lot of calls back and forth via telephone and run things by one another, and then we would have to wait for them to record it or to go to a studio, because not everyone has a home studio. And then, of course, they would send it back, and then we would critique it, or if a change needed to be made, we would have to discuss it, and then they would have to go back and then make whatever changes. So it was definitely a longer process than it would have been had we all been together, in the same studio. But I mean, it wasn't a big deal at all. Thankfully, all the people that were a part of this project, they're very professional, and it was very easy to work with everyone.
Oh, that's great. I also wanted to find out when you're in the studio, is everybody usually in the studio, or do you do it separately? Do you lay down the tracks separately? Like you'll lay down yours and then, the next person will lay down, or is it a combined thing?
No, I mean, in a normal setting, it wouldn't be where everyone's in the studio.
Okay.
If that happens, it's because of a special reason or a special purpose, or everyone just happened to be in the same place. But usually it's just, whoever's recording the track, whichever artist it is, and the producers, and, and we work with each artist individually.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you a question about the Quarantine Rhythm, like the music video. So the way you guys did it was so creative. Like, it looks like, I don't want to say it was Zoom, but it looks like you all did it in different places and you combined it together. Like,
yeah,
it was amazing, like the way that production was put together.
Yeah, no, that was definitely like all Red Rat's idea.
Okay.
He like so yeah, well, that is what happened. We were all in different places, and it just comes down to logistics and production at the end of the day, so that we were able to make it kind of seem like we were kind of sort of in the same place, but not really.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had to just figure it out with what we had, and we made it happen.
And what made you come up with the idea to make that rhythm at that time? Was it like already in your mind, or like it came up during this quarantine time?
No, like it realistically just came up during the quarantine. It was just, it was born out of me being bored.
Okay.
And to know me is to know that I'm super adventurous. I have so much energy. I'm like a little Energizer bunny, like always on 10. So, having to be kind of locked up, I was just like prancing around like la-di-dar. And it just came up like that. So it wasn't planned or anything. It just happened.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's great. Yeah, I really like that rhythm. When you created the rhythm for the first time, was that like the final product, or you had to like go in and like refine it?
I mean, I think with anything that you do, just in general, you have to refine it, right?
Yeah,
so there's always like a first draft, second draft, third draft, etc. You create it, and then you sometimes step away from it and come back to it and listen to it again. And if it's good, then fine, run with it. But if it's not, then, you tweak certain things. You may add stuff to it. You may take things out of it until you get the formula that you're looking for.
Now, being that you work in combination with other celebrities and artists, who makes that final decision that, okay, this is the right cut, this is the right way?
Well, we make that together, like as producers. So for this particular rhythm, it was, the entire Mogul Beats team. We made the decisions as to, what was the right cut, who were the right artists, what are we going to release, when are we going to release it. So, it's definitely a team effort. But yeah, it's Mogul Beats.
The whole team.
That's very nice. Tell me, what is your preference? Singing, acting, modeling, or all of the above?
That's not fair. I don't know. It's like, I can't answer that because it's all performing.
Okay.
And I just love to perform, like in general. So it doesn't matter what it is, as long as I'm performing. Like I can't take one away from the next,
Okay.
It's like you asking me, would I prefer to give up like a lung or a kidney? Like,
okay. No, why the reason I asked you that is because a lot of celebrities they start off like maybe doing rap and or they're doing comedy, and all of a sudden as the years go by you see that they're doing serious acting roles and stuff like that, and then you realize that they were versatile from the beginning. They may just have gotten started like Queen Latifah. She got her start by rapping, but the lady can sing her heart out. I mean, she's and she's a great actress. So sometimes there's a platform that you start on, and then it goes into another direction. So that's why I was
No,
asking you that.
no, absolutely. Like I think what it is that you have to be authentically yourself as an artist, and it depends on where you are in your life. And that kind of determines in that moment what it is that you're doing or what your message is in regards to, whatever you're producing, you know? And like right now, like on my next EP that I'm like on my EP that I'm working on, the messages that might be in that may no longer be the same message a year from now or 2 years from now.
Gotcha.
So, like I don't know where it's gonna go from me. It's music is energy. Like being creative, it's a vibe. It's energy. And as long as you just kind of go along with that wave and you ride that wave, wherever it takes you, that's where you're destined to go. So, right now for me, it might be music. Later on, I might get more into acting again. I have no idea. I'm just excited to just see where my journey takes me and just embrace it.
Okay. Tell me also about your diverse family, your background. You're beautiful. You're just so gorgeous. I first thought that maybe you were from Jamaica or Guyana or something like that. But tell me about your family background.
Well, I'm Jamaican injected, but no, I was actually born in Florida, and I am Bahamian, Dominican, and Turks descent, to just keep it simple.
Okay.
But yeah, my family is very diverse. Like myself and like all of my relatives, for the most part, like both of my parents were born in different places.
Okay.
All of my grandparents were born in different places, and all of my great grandparents were born in different places. So we are completely mixed up, like conch salad. Like we are like so diverse across our entire family. If you line us all up together, you'd be like, wow, like, how did this happen? But yeah, like it's crazy.
So do everybody eat practically the same type of food, or is it so? If it's is it very different? Like say for Thanksgiving or Christmas, when everybody gets together, it must be a real different combination of different styles of food and stuff.
So we yeah, I mean, because we are so diverse, like we kind of switch it up where we don't do like solely like like Caribbean dishes,
Okay.
because for a very long time, for about I think about 10 years of my life, like I grew up in Switzerland. So we have like a lot of European influences in the things that we eat. We have Caribbean influences. So it just depends on what we feel like, for holidays and stuff. When we all get together, we'll discuss it. Sometimes we discuss it for months to try to decide like on, okay, what is this final menu gonna be? But yeah, we switch it up.
Okay. The reason I asked you that because my daughter is mixed. She looks like you, and when we get with the family, some of it is Spanish food. A lot of it is on my side is Jamaican food and stuff like that. So it's like, well, you'll fix this part and I'll fix that part, and everybody comes together.
I think you said the key thing, depending on which side.
Mm.
Depending on which side. So, like if it's more on my mom's side, it might be like more Caribbean and European mix. If it's more on my dad's side, it might be like more Spanish-ish,
Okay.
So it really just depends. It depends on who we're around.
What was it like living in Switzerland?
Switzerland was really great. That's where Switzerland is really what made me be as open-minded as I am, and as tolerant. Like I'm tolerant and very respectful to different people from different places and different cultures. And that has a lot to do with the fact that when I went to school, in my class, there were only two people that were both from the same place. every single child's background was from a different country. So I had a girl from Italy in my class, France in my class. I had two kids from Czech Republic. They were the only two because they were actually related to each other. I had Russian kids in my class. I had a friend from Macedonia. So we were all like mixed up in the same classroom. And then with Switzerland being such a cold country, when you would go outside or when you would go to play with your friends, you actually went to their house. We had snow days, obviously, where we were outside playing in snow, but for the most part, we would go to each other's homes. And when we were at each other's homes, that's where you pick up each person's culture, each person's, the food that they eat, their customs that they observe. And you also pick up their languages.
Okay.
Because like, you know how it is, like you come to someone's home and you're like, hey, I don't care what you do in your house or whatever, but here, we eat with these chopsticks, or we eat, we take off our shoes at the door, or, you know what I mean? So I had a lot of that, which I'm very, very thankful for. And yeah, it was great. There were a few, moments of it being hard because, I was the darkest person for a very, very long time in the entire school.
Okay.
And that in itself was hard at times, but a lot of it came from what other kids heard from their family members. We would go occasionally like into the Alps to go skiing and stuff like that. And sometimes like people would stare at my mom and stare at me because my mother's very fair skinned. My mother, you can easily, assume that she's a white lady.
Okay.
But she's mixed.
Mm-hmm.
So then they would look at her with, this child that's, a little darker, and they would be like, they wouldn't say anything, but you would see the stares and yeah, you could tell, like you could feel it. You know what I mean? So I didn't really understand it back then. I never really even paid attention to it back then, until I came to this side of the world.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's where I learned, the history behind different things, and like, all the ins and outs of racism and why, certain people feel a certain kind of way and stuff like that. But outside of those little few experiences here and there, like for the most part, it was awesome. I speak multiple languages, and that's because I lived there. I've experienced the culture. It's because I live there. I ski, I snowboard, I ice skate. That's all because I was, from there.
Damn.
So, yeah.
How do you feel about what's going on in the country right now, with all this racism and the problem of people not accepting diversity?
I mean, I definitely think that it's sad, and I think that it's really disgusting because, at the end of the day, we are still all one people. We're all one race, which is the human race.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter if, one person is a different shade of whatever, blue, purple, pink, yellow, it doesn't matter. Like, we're still all one people. And it amazes me that some people feel as if because their body produces less melanin than another individual, that it makes them superior. And it's just absurd, like, in my opinion, And I think that because there's so many people that are ignorant in this world, and they don't understand DNA. They don't understand why human features are different. Human features are different because when you're closer to the equator, your pores, they swell, they open up. So that means that your noses will be wider, your pores are going to be wider. You know what I mean? Like your face will produce more oil. Mm-hmm. And the further you go away from the equator, what ends up happening is if you go into the cold, your pores close up. And all of your features, they slim out. And that's your body's way of protecting itself to the environment. So all we've done is different races have over time and over years, we've changed our features based on where we were all from. Or where we all or where we were all residing. Yes. That's it. It doesn't go any further than that.
I like what you just said. What you just said needs to be spoken about more often, because I really think that people really do not understand that, you know.
Right.
And a young person such as yourself doing all the work that you're doing, it's great to see people talk about, you know, the diversity, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for me to watch because, you know, like in my family, we have everything, you know? So it's like within our family, like we can't necessarily like shun one for the other, because then it means that we're shunning our own family, you know? But at the end of the day, you know, it's just sad. And I just hope that, you know, it changes and that people wake up and see it for what it is and just unite, you know, as one people so that we can, you know, continue to live and together. Because together, regardless of the race, like we can accomplish so much. Divided, we can't.
Right. What's next for you as far as your recording, acting, modeling? What's next? I know because of the virus that's going on, a lot of things have stopped. You know, I know, you know, making appointments, acting, you know, on stage and stuff like that. But after everything has passed, what is your vision for the next, say, 5 years? What would you like to do and accomplish?
Right now, I'm mostly focused on music and production. So we'll definitely be releasing some more production projects. We'll continue to work with different artists and stuff. And then for me personally, like I'm currently working on my EP. So I'll be releasing that EP at some point. You know, at whatever point is the right time, I guess.
Okay.
It's a good release date.
At this point, I would like to take some time to thank our sponsors for producing Our World, Our Power Show, TMI and Partners, and their number is 917-443-8573, and the office of Stephen G. James, attorney at law.
If I don't, you will be a say. Make a bum panning. Give me everything, man, I run from it.
That's the wrong button.
Deep in me, hold on, damn it. It's obvious that you're drinking.
There we go.
Okay. All right, let me figure this one out. Well, this is Stephanie James, attorney at law, attorney at war. He hasn't lost the case for over 30 years, and he's located here in Queens. And his number is 646-905-9000. Let's continue this conversation and the music. I was
trying to play the video
and the video now. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, we could continue. I don't want to mess up again.
Joe, what else? What other questions do you have at hand?
Well, was this the first rhythm that you made, or have you had rhythms out before?
No, this was actually the first project that I released. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So, what are you going to be? What do you think you're going to be working on next? As far as is it going to be beats? Are you going to be sitting down writing? Because you do have all this time to do that. Or is that what you're doing right now, writing?
Well, yeah. Right now we are like writing to a few different tracks that we have to finish up. But yeah, like we're looking into what the next project is going to be from a production standpoint. And once we figure that out, then we'll definitely start working towards that. And that'll be like the second release.
Okay. What is your favorite artist of today?
Oh.
Too many to name, probably.
I know.
Well, someone that you really has inspired you, or you know, you want to sort of be like.
I've been inspired by so many people. You know, I've been inspired by like Anastasia, which is a pop artist from Europe, Roxette, which was a rock group. I've been inspired by Beyonce. I've been inspired by, you know, Rihanna. I've been inspired by Tammy Chin. I've been inspired by Beanie Man. I've been inspired by Red Rat. I've been inspired by so many different people. There's not just one individual. Because, you know, really and truly, I respect every artist for who they are, every artist for their craft and for what their message is. Because that's what we are. Like we're people that have messages to deliver to the masses. And so it's like I don't have one favorite person that I listen to or that I watch. I just try to like look at each person for what they bring to the table and just try to learn from every single person.
Okay, that's good. Right now, I'd like to say you're listening to Our World, Our Power radio show, and we can be heard on Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Google Play, and we're also on Roku. And I know I'm leaving a lot of stuff out. Instagram, Facebook, and definitely, I think I said YouTube. So if you're interested in continuing to listening to our power, please continue supporting us by just setting our numbers up, you know, by listening on Spotify and iTunes and our Instagram and our world media. So thank you. Joe, any final questions that you would like to ask?
I think that was all the questions that I asked. I'm going to continue to play your rhythm, you know, at my events. Well, right now, I'm not physically going out, but online, you know, and then other upcoming projects, you know, to promote the rhythm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad you stopped by Our World, Our Power. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Awesome. And make sure everybody, you guys go to Spotify, Google Play, Apple Music, you name it, and like look for the Kwarantine Rhythm that's spelled with a KW. It's KWA, not QU. So just make sure to go and look for that, and make sure you guys follow me across all social media at Pascalli Global, and it's PASCALLI.
All right, that's great. And how can we follow you, Joe?
You can follow me at on my Instagram. I have a few at Our World Media, at Massive Hype Sound, and at J Swift Photos because I'm a photographer too. Yeah, those are some of my platforms. I don't want to. It's too many to name, but those are the main ones.
Okay. All right. You've been listening to Lady Pauline and Joe Swift. Thank you very much for being our guest on our show this afternoon, and look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.